So it's obviously a no-brainer that Pixar and Disney are going to make an Inside Out 3. It's become almost the 8th biggest movie of all time. And while I said that I wasn't going to talk anymore about Inside Out 2 in terms of Inside Out projects, I am going to be talking about this franchise for as long as Disney wants to milk this franchise. I will talk about Dream Productions and eventually a potential third film if they ever announce it. Make sure to share down below your Inside Out 3 predictions. But here are my predictions for Inside Out 3. I got 3 major things that I want to predict in this movie, and well, let's get this started. Now, starting things off is the time gap. Now, just like how Inside Out to Inside Out 2, there wasn't a huge or that big of a time gap. It was just about a year after the first movie ended. I think the third movie, I would love to see Riley about to finish high school and about to go off to college, and with the stresses of life and all that stuff that you have to do once you become an adult. Like Pixar's other third installment, Toy Story 3, where our human protagonist is going off to college, I believe it would be very fitting for Inside Out 3 to tackle this. The audience that watched the second movie are like 10 to 13 years old. And then by the time this third movie releases, they're probably 18 to 20 years old. So they will feel much more connected and will relate to a great amount of this movie, just like what they did with the second movie. And it'd be so cool for the audience to grow up with Riley. The whole movie is about Riley thinking about the past, which I will elaborate a bit later on in the video, missing the good old days, but realizing that those times are over. And by the end of the movie, she could say goodbye to all of her old friends and her family members and start a brand new life. I think that would be a great way to end the Inside Out trilogy. The first movie was very much her as a baby, and then growing up to about to be a teenager, and then the second movie, it's her full on being a teenager ready for high school. The third movie, I think, will definitely be her finishing high school, going off to college, and I think that would set things up for Inside Out 4, which we could see now that she has a husband, and maybe she's starting to get kids. So it's pretty obvious that this third movie will have a huge time gap, but I think it'll be a lot more drastic than the second movie had, because honestly, I'm a little worried that this is going to turn out to be kind of the Incredibles 2 in terms of Inside Out 3, where people are constantly begging for Inside Out 3, and then we're going to have to wait like 65 to 84 years until we get the movie, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, why do we have to wait so long? But the main reason why we're hearing about why they're waiting so long to make this movie is that they're trying to crack a good idea for the film, and I think that this would be one of the best ideas for the movie. Even if we have to wait 84 years until this film comes out, oh my gosh, at least it'll be worth it, and hopefully the audience will be the exact target age that Pixar wants them to be. I'm guessing Riley will be around 17, about to turn 18, and the audience should be around 18 to 20. I think that would be very fitting, but hopefully they don't wait a long time to release this movie. I'm predicting at least 8 to 9 years till we get that third film, but I think this would be a great idea and one of the great stories you could do, at least for the outside world of Inside Out 3. Now, going back to Riley thinking about the past, and why do I bring that up? Well, that's because I believe nostalgia will become the antagonist. We saw in Inside Out 2, nostalgia was kind of a throwaway emotion, and the characters always pushed her away and told her that it was too early. You see, nostalgia is a very wild and complex emotion. When you think about it, you just reminisce and think about the past and all the good old days they used to have. But there's also a bad side to this emotion, sort of. Nostalgia can also lead to stagnation, which means clinging to the comforts of the past, which can hinder your personal growth. Riley, on one hand, would go, I can't wait to go to college, but then the other side of her would be clinging way too much to the past that she doesn't have any motivation to go. And nostalgia wants to take control like what anxiety did in the second movie, where every new and old emotion is gone, and nostalgia is the only one in headquarters. The characters would keep telling her it's too early, and eventually nostalgia gets tired of it. She kicks every emotion out of headquarters. What new emotions? Well, I asked my awesome friend Nolan Mixel. I asked him, do you got any predicted emotions? And he said, I got you covered. I like to see gloom and shame since they were scrapped antagonists in both movies. Now, shame, I think, is a no-brainer. I mean, shame does mean believing something is wrong with you, and that character could affect Riley's sense of self. And gloom, well, I'm not sure what the purpose of that character would be. I mean, it's kind of a state of depression, and sadness is already kind of like that, but I mean, kids do get very depressed in high school, so maybe that's what her purpose could be, to be a way worse, sad, negative emotion than sadness herself. but I really don't got any other new emotions yet. It was pretty complicated trying to figure out what kind of new emotions they will have. But I hope that they have slightly less emotions because we can't have like 50 new emotions and people keep complaining of why these characters have those emotions. But Gloom and Shame, I think, will also get kicked out of headquarters alongside with Joy and the others, and along their journey, they will explore, well, the new concepts. And oh boy, this was pretty hard to figure out. Okay, one that was a recycled idea from Inside Out 2 was Procrastination Land, which means to constantly push or delay something, like what I do in my math class. But this concept that was called Procrastination Land, where the workers would say, "Ah, we're gonna build that tomorrow," never built it, kept getting delayed and postponed until it was never built. Not only is that freaking hilarious, but that would be a great concept in this. We have all procrastinated. Like, don't act like you've never procrastinated, everybody. Don't lie to me like that. I was thinking about a brain rot land, but I don't think Pixar is going to do that. They're not going to have a Skibbity Toilet Land or any of that. But I did ask my friend, does he have any ideas of what other lands they could add in Inside Out 3? And this is what he had to say. So I asked my friend Nolan Mixel and I asked him, got Inside Out 3 Island ideas? I got Procrastination Land, but I'm struggling to figure out any other ones. And he said, maybe if Riley's an adult and gets a job, we can get an island about her job, like her working at an office. I think that would be pretty cool. Like, I don't know, maybe she works at a restaurant or an office or some place, and then that becomes its own island. I think that would actually be really, really cool for them to explore and to do. Maybe there's a college land or a high school land, but honestly, I can't really think of anything else that would be represented as a land in Inside Out 3, let alone a bunch of new islands that they may have in this third movie. But Pixar, I cooked. Hopefully you'll take this idea, please. I hope you guys like this idea. Again, share your predictions down below. Thank you for Nolan Mixel for answering my questions a lot. And yeah, those are my Inside Out 3 predictions as of right now. I feel like Pixar is going to officially announce an Inside Out 3 when the next D23 happens, which I'm guessing will be sometime in 2026 or in 2027. So we're not going to be getting this movie, I'm guessing, until 2030, because they recently said they're already starting to craft an idea for the movie as of right now. They're starting to pitch and figure out ideas for the movie, which means that it's potentially and it's definitely going to happen. So, what are you guys' thoughts about my predictions for Inside Out 3? Share yours down below, and how excited are you if Pixar officially greenlit an Inside Out 3?